Hello guys, how are you doing? I hope you're doing good. Moving on, exercise C. We've got an exercise that it says complete the conversation by circling words, then listen and check. So you'll have to choose between two choices that it gives you. So it's pretty easy. I'm gonna read them for you so you can know some of the pronunciation, and then you can start answering, and you can pause the video if you want. So it says, Chris, what do you do or you doing? And then Beth answers saying, I'm giving a presentation next week, so I'm researching. I used to research my topic. Chris says, oh yeah? What are you planning? What did you use to plan to talk about? And Beth responds, I'm going to talk about the spacecraft Voyager 1. And she says too, I've been interested in space ever since I was in elementary school. My third grade teacher has thought about it. And Chris says, I don't know, I'm not going to know anything about it. And Beth says, well, was launching Voyager 1 in 1977. From 1977 to 2012, has traveled through our solar system. It carried all kinds of things from Earth, like recordings and of languages, music, and photos. If aliens will find this spacecraft, they will learn a lot of Earth. Well, they will learn about Earth in 1977. And Chris says, what happened? What has happened in 2012? And Beth answers, it's going to leave our solar system. Since then, has continued to travel, but scientists think it will run out of power around 2025. So if you want, well, you have to pause the video now so you can answer, and let's go to see the answers of each one.
Unit 12, Track 2-46.
What are you doing?
I'm giving a presentation next week, so I'm researching my topic.
Oh yeah? What are you planning to talk about?
I'm going to talk about the spacecraft Voyager 1. I've been interested in space ever since I was in elementary school. My third grade teacher taught us about it.
I don't know anything about it.
Well, NASA launched Voyager 1 in 1977. From 1977 to 2012, it traveled through our solar system. It carried all kinds of things from Earth, like recordings of languages, music, and photos. If aliens find this spacecraft, they'll learn a lot about Earth. Well, they'll learn about Earth in 1977.
What happened in 2012?
It left our solar system. Since then, it has continued to travel. But scientists think it'll run out of power around 2025.
So the first one says, what do you do? What are you doing? So in this case is, what are you doing? Because Chris is asking Beth that what is he actually doing in that moment. So Beth says, I'm giving a presentation next week, so I'm researching my topic. Chris says, oh yeah, what are you planning to talk about? And Beth says, I'm going to talk about spacecraft Voyager 1. I used to be interested in space ever since I was in elementary school. My third grade teacher taught us about it. And Chris answers, I don't know anything about it. So now Bear is explaining some about it. So it says, well, NASA launched Voyager 1 in 1977. From 1977 to 2012, it traveled through our solar system. It carried all kinds of things from Earth, like recordings of languages, music, and photos. If aliens find this spacecraft, they will learn a lot of Earth. Well, they will learn about Earth in 1977. So Chris says, what happened in 2012? And Beth answers, it left our solar system. Since then, it has continued to travel, but scientists think it will run out of power around 2025. So that's exercise C. So now we have to move on exercise C, and it's something similar, but they are not giving you some choices. You have to choose the correct tense. So it says complete the sentences, use the correct form of words, listen and check. So again, I'll read the exercise for you, so you can pause the video after and start answering. So it says, in 1979, the spacecraft Apollo 11, so it says, land on the moon for the first time. Since then, scientists will have to put the verb learn many things about our closest neighbor. Only 12 people blank to the moon. Those astronauts, they're between 1979 and 1972. This was during a period of time when scientists the moon very closely. Today, NASA astronauts another trip to the moon. They to go before 2020 if they then another day more about the moon than ever before. Other countries preparations to go to the moon too. India, China, Japan, and Russia all plans in place. Some private companies to make a profit from moon tourism. They to make reservation for future flights. So take your time, pause the video, and once you're done, you can play the video so you can check the answers.
Unit 12, Track 2 47.
In 1969, the spacecraft Apollo 11 landed on the moon for the first time. Since then, scientists have learned many things about our closest neighbor. Only 12 people have ever been to the moon. Those astronauts went there between 1969 and 1972. This was during a period of time when scientists were studying the moon very closely. Today, NASA astronauts are planning another trip to the moon. They want to go before 2020. If they go, they'll learn more about the moon than ever before. Other countries have made preparations to go to the moon too. India, China, Japan, and Russia all have plans in place. Some private companies are hoping to make a profit from moon tourism. They are beginning to take reservations for future flights.
So it says, in 1979, the spacecraft Apollo 11 landed on the moon for the first time. Since then, scientists have learned many things about our closest neighbor. Only 12 people have ever been to the moon. Those astronauts went there between 1979 and 1972. This was during a period of time when scientists studied the moon very closely. Today, NASA astronauts are planning another trip to the moon. They wanted to go before 2020. If they go, they will learn more about the moon than ever before. Other countries are making preparation to go to the moon too. India, China, Japan, and Russia all have plans in place. Some private companies are hoping to make a profit from moon tourism. They have begun to take reservation for future flights. So that's it.
Guys, how are you? Teacher Crisel. I'm gonna check with you the workbook, Unit 12, where we have this question, which is the biggest planet? And as you can see, you already uh, see that with Teacher Robert in the last class. So now we're gonna answer vocabulary focus together. We have to complete the sentences with the correct word. And the first sentence says, the planet nearest to the sun is called Mars. Very good. Number two, the planet we live on is called, that one is easy, Earth. Very good. Number three, it's not considered to be a planet anymore. It's not a planet anymore. So what is the answer? Yes, very good. Pluto. Number four, NASA's Curiosity rover has been on since 2012. has been on moon. Excellent. Number 5, or is called the Milky Way. Yes, like the chocolate. Or galaxy. Excellent. Let's continue with the next exercise. Letter B says, rank the following in order of size. Remember that number 1 is the biggest one. So we have the moon, the Milky Way, the sun, the solar system, and the earth. What do you think is the number 1? Yes, the Milky Way. Then the solar system, then the sun, number 4 the earth, and the last one is the moon. In the next slide, I'm gonna show you a picture about where you can see the difference of the sizes of these ones. Okay, for you have a clearly image on your mind. Now let's see. Research which is the biggest planet in our solar system and which is the smallest. And you have to write the name of the 8 planets in order of sizes, starting with the biggest and then in that order to write to the smallest. So for the biggest we have Jupiter, next Saturn, then Uranus, Neptune, then the Earth, then Mars, Venus, and the last one, Pluto. Okay, here we have the picture where you can see the Milky Way, and this little point of here, it's our solar system where we have the sun, the Earth, and we cannot see the moon in this one, right? So let's continue. This exercise is a conversation. We have to write the number in the correct order to complete the conversation, obviously. So we have for the number 1, oh no, I can't believe it. What are you, when you want to know about what it's going to, what's happened, what do you ask? Yes, letter E, number 2. What's wrong, Chris? And Chris has to answer what? What's going on, right? So number 3 is letter F and says, well, I'm having a presentation in class tomorrow, but I've lost my slides. I thought the file was on my USB drive. Oh, poor Chris. Now, what do you think? What did you answer to him? Yes, number 4. Oh no, that's terrible. Have you checked your hard drive? Are you sure you didn't save in there? That happens a lot, trust me. Number 5, what is it? Yes, I'm sure. Now I have to do it again. Imagine if you have to do 30 slides again. That's that's a lot of work. Now number 6. Yes, don't worry, Chris. I'll help you do it. That's a good friend, right? And the last one. Thanks, Rachel. That's really sweet of you, but you might not to have to. I was checking the wrong USB drive. Oh, that's a really nice feeling when you realize that you have the presentation in another USB. So next exercise, language focus. In this exercise, I want you to complete it first of all by yourself, like you think it's correct, and then we're gonna check the correct answer. So please, in this part, pause the video to complete this exercise and then come back to check them. Okay, guys. How was it? Was easy, difficult? What do you think? Okay, let's get started. This is a conversation between Alan and Ben. And let's get started. Says, did you about the Earth versus space chess match? Did you what? Did you hear or did you hear? Yes, did you hear? Because we have already the this auxiliary that says that the question is in past. So the verb is stated in the simple form. Now, no, I didn't. Who was? Who was what? Who was playing? It's like you say in Spanish, ¿quién estaba jugando? If you listen, the first part was in past and then the other was in present. Estaba jugando. Okay, now an astronaut named Greg Cheminov when he blank space and we have the verb live on the International Space Station. He played against a champion student team on the Earth. We have here that the verb is in past. So what do you think is the correct answer? When he lived, very good. Because we're talking about something in the past. Now, wow, that sounds incredible. It was, the team on the earth was what? Was making up, was makeup, was made up. Yes, was made up of students from school in the USA. And because Great Chainmaker was in space, there was a big time difference. So the game was very slow. Only one move every 48 hours. Imagine that. Only 48 hours. Even the chess match is really complicated and really takes a long time. Imagine now you have to do one move every 48 hours. That's unbelievable, right? Now, those students, what? In the second grade. Says those students in the second grade. But what do you think is the answer? Yes, used to be in the second grade, but when Chemitov, sorry, what? Them an email to say they've won. So if you will have won, what do you think is the correct answer here? Yes, they wrote them an email. So they were already in third grade. Wow, that's a really long time, right? Now, exercise B. We have to circle the correct form of the verbs. So says that the text says, a few years ago, we have the key right here, a few years ago. So that's is because we talk about the past, right? So the answer is start. A few years ago, started the New Frontiers program to research planets in the solar system. NASA was identifying or has identifying. What do you think is the answer? Yes, has identified because if we translate this part, it says that the uh, fue, NASA fue identificado o lo identificó a few possible projects for this program. Now, one of the projects was one of the projects is a plan to study Venus. People used to think or thought. Check this. We have used to. So the answer is think. Very good. That Venus was too far away to research, but it isn't. In fact, the first spaceship passed Venus in 1962. Was in 1962. So the answer is past. Very good. But no one, and we have another keyword yet. So is has been there yet. And scientists want to go there to learn how Venus is different from Earth. Okay, guys. I hope you have all the have under. I hope you understand this exercise. They want some that are really tricky, but with practice, we can identify where we use this tense or where we won't use it. Okay, now continue with the class with teacher Donaldo. Goodbye, guys.
Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to Session 9, Unit 12. I hope you're having a great day. And let's not waste any time and let's start. So, the last class we talked about space and astronauts. Today, we're going to talk about the many inventions that we have thanks to NASA. Yes, that's right. Many of our everyday objects were invented by NASA. So let's open your student books to page 120 and read the text that is shown here. Remember, you can play, you can pause, you can rewind whenever you want. Okay, so now that you read the text, what is one of the objects inspired by the NASA? One of the objects inspired by the NASA. It's the sneaker. Yes, un tenis. Entonces, nuestros tenis tienen tecnología de NASA. All right, so let's continue here. Here are some products that use space technology. We have water filters. We have coated eyeglass lenses and ear thermometers. So, what do you think these objects were used for in space? ¿Por qué los usaban o para qué fueron inventados para ser usados en el espacio? Water filters. All right. So, water filters, obviously, they are made to filter water. But why do you think they need to filter water in space? Well, there's not a lot of water in space. There's actually no water in space. And there is no water bottles or a place where you can get your water from. So they have to recycle their water. That means they have to recycle the water they drank. Yes? I'm not going to get into details, but yes, they have to recycle the water. All right, guys. What about coated eyeglass lenses? Coated. Coated means that they put a special protection on the lens. Yes. Why do you think that they need a special extra coat, otra capa extra, to protect? All right. So they use the coated eyeglass lens to protect their helmet visors, sus visores de, what are helmets? Yes, cascos. Yes, from getting scratched by particles and dirt from space. Yes, cualquier partícula o tierra que podría estar en el espacio. All right. Now let's continue with ear thermometers. Termómetros de tu oreja. So the technology you are using to measure the temperature in your ear was originally used to measure the heat from the stars. So that's pretty funny if you think about it. All right. The technology you're using to measure your ear or the temperature of your ear came from, yes, from wanting to measure the heat from the stars. So that's very incredible. All right. And finally, guys, we're going to listen to the audio and pay attention to the many explanations that they give you. All right. Then we're going to listen to it again and you're going to circle the true or false. All right. So let's go to the listening.
Unit 12, Track 2-48.
The American Space Agency, NASA, has some of the best inventors in the world. To research space or send spacecraft to other planets, they have had to develop many new technologies. However, many of these new technologies are just as useful here on Earth as they are in space. Let's see how some of these technologies were developed. Just as on Earth, astronauts need clean water to drink. However, recycling used water and keeping it clean for a long period of time is much more difficult in space. In the 1970s, they created a special water filter. This technology is now being used to clean water all over the world, especially in areas where the water is dirty. It's also used in the water bottles that many people can keep in their refrigerators. How do scientists know the temperature of stars and other distant objects? They use infrared technology. They measure an object's heat based on the light coming from it. This infrared technology is also used here on Earth. One company worked with NASA to develop a thermometer that uses infrared technology to measure a sick person's temperature from inside their ear. It only takes 2 seconds to take someone's temperature now. This allows nurses to quickly measure temperature of babies or patients who can't move. Did you know that there was a time when eyeglasses were only made of glass? Not only were they heavy, but they sometimes broke and damaged the wearer's eyes. It was only after 1972 that eyeglass makers changed to using plastic. The problem with using plastic, however, was that it scratched easily. A NASA scientist was able to help. While working on a water filter for spacecraft, the scientist covered the filter with a thin plastic. He discovered that the plastic didn't scratch, so NASA started using it for other things, like helmets. It didn't take long for people to use this technology for eyeglasses here on Earth.
Okay, guys, so remember, if you want to hear the audio again, you can just go back and press play. All right, so listen to the audio again, and now you're going to answer the sentences with a true or false, okay? So listen to the audio again and answer with true or false.
Unit 12, Track 2-48.
The American Space Agency, NASA, has some of the best inventors in the world. To research space or send spacecraft to other planets, they have had to develop many new technologies. However, many of these new technologies are just as useful here on Earth as they are in space. Let's see how some of these technologies were developed. Just as on Earth, astronauts need clean water to drink. However, recycling used water and keeping it clean for a long period of time is much more difficult in space. In the 1970s, they created a special water filter. This technology is now being used to clean water all over the world, especially in areas where the water is dirty. It's also used in the water bottles that many people can keep in their refrigerators. How do scientists know the temperature of stars and other distant objects? They use infrared technology. They measure an object's heat based on the light coming from it. This infrared technology is also used here on Earth. One company worked with NASA to develop a thermometer that uses infrared technology to measure a sick person's temperature from inside their ear. It only takes 2 seconds to take someone's temperature now. This allows nurses to quickly measure temperature of babies or patients who can't move. Did you know that there was a time when eyeglasses were only made of glass? Not only were they heavy, but they sometimes broke and damaged the wearer's eyes. It was only after 1972 that eyeglass makers changed to using plastic. The problem with using plastic, however, was that it scratched easily. a NASA scientist was able to help. While working on a water filter for spacecraft, the scientist covered the filter with a thin plastic. He discovered that the plastic didn't scratch, so NASA started using it for other things, like helmets. It didn't take long for people to use this technology for eyeglasses here on Earth.
All right, guys. So let's start with number 1. It says some companies use NASA's water filtering technology to make water bottles. Is that true or false? If you put true, you are correct. All right, let's go to number 2. Infrared thermometers. Infrared is infrarrojo. All right. So do they measure a person's temperature from inside their mouth? True or false? False. Remember, it's from their ear. All right. Number 3. The new thermometers can measure temperature in 2 seconds. That is true. That's incredible, right? In 2 seconds? All right. Now, number 4. The problem with plastic glasses is that they break easily. Yes, glasses, lentes de plástico. So, do they break easily? ¿Se rompen fácilmente? False. All right. Now, number 5. Coating eyeglasses with thin plastic. Poniendo una capa con plástico delgadito makes them scratch proof. That is true. Excellent, guys. And see, we have a small pattern. True, false, true, false, true. All right, guys. So if you got all of them correct, good job. If you didn't, don't worry. All right, guys. Let's go to the next exercise. Now, we're going to work on our pronunciation. Remember, guys, I always tell you pronunciation is the most important thing. Okay? It doesn't matter how much I know of English. Doesn't matter if I'm an expert in grammar. It doesn't matter if I'm an expert in blah, blah, blah. Yes, if your pronunciation is not good, the other people are not going to understand you. Okay? It doesn't matter if the other people know all the words in the English language. If your pronunciation is horrible or bad, then the other person is not going to understand you. Okay, so it's important that we practice. So, pronunciation, linking of W and Y sounds. Notice that W and Y sounds between some words. Let's see number 1. It says, your movements are slow in space. Slow. So do you notice that in number 1, the W pronunciation sound? Slow in, slow in. Repeat after me, slow in. All right, number 2, Pluto. Pluto. So it's not Pluto, it's Pluto. Yes, I know it sounds funny, but that's how you have to pronounce it. Pluto is not a planet anymore. Number 3, Mercury and Venus. Mercurian. Repeat, Mercurian. Can you hear the sound? Mercurian. All right. And number 4, the astronauts have to be at, repeat after me, be at the launch pad by 7. All right. So in case you don't like my pronunciation, I'm going to put the audio. So listen to from 1 to 4.
Unit 12, Track 2-49. 1,
Your movements are slow in space.
2. Pluto is not a planet anymore. 3.
Mercury and Venus are closer to the Sun than Earth.
4. The astronauts have to be at the launch pad by 7 o'clock.
All right, guys. So now in the next exercise, you're going to listen carefully and you're going to check if it has the W sound or the Y sound. And you're going to write like in this example. Okay, so listen carefully and write where you hear the W sound or the Y sound. You only have to write one, okay? Each exercise, you only have to write one sound, okay? So let's start. Listen carefully.
Unit 12, Track 2-50. 1,
The spacecraft finally entered Earth's atmosphere.
2,
You can see over 2,000 stars at night.
3,
Scientists didn't know about Pluto until 1931.
4,
In 1969, 2 Americans landed on the moon in Apollo 11.
5,
Do you think there will be a space colony on the moon someday?
6,
Astronauts have to do a lot of training before they can go into space.
All right, guys. So if you're finished, let's check our answers. If you're not, remember, you can go back, play the audio, and continue. All right, guys. So let's see the answer. The answers are... Okay, here, the spacecraft finally entered. Finally entered. Number 2, you can see over 2,000 stars at night. Number 3, what am I saying? I'm going to put the audio so you can hear for yourself. So listen, please.
Unit 12, Track 2-50. 1,
The spacecraft finally entered Earth's atmosphere.
2,
You can see over 2,000 stars at night.
3,
Scientists didn't know about Pluto until 1931.
4,
In 1969, 2 Americans landed on the moon in Apollo 11.
5,
Do you think there will be a space colony on the moon someday?
6,
Astronauts have to do a lot of training before they can go into space.
Do go with the W sound. All right, so if you didn't understand what this exercise was, guys, don't worry. With practice, we're going to get better. All right, so now it's finally time to talk about the homework. Next class homework, guys, is going to be workbook page 61. Yes, read the article, look for 5 words, only 5 words you don't understand, and you're going to look for them in the dictionary or Google Translate. Then you're going to answer the questions, okay? You're going to check these, the homework with Teacher Donaldo. Well, all right, guys. I hope you had a nice day. I hope you continue to have a nice day, and I hope this wasn't too much information. Okay? Continue practicing your verbs and continue to have a great day and protect yourselves, guys. Okay? Protect yourselves from what is going on outside and stay in your house, please. Okay, guys. So, goodbye. Have a nice day. See you.